While exploring the grand hallway, Lisa noticed a large, dusty portrait of a stern-looking man. As she wiped away the dust, the man's eyes seemed to follow her, and she felt a chill run down her spine. "This portrait is definitely haunted," she said. The group gathered around the portrait, trying to decipher the identity of the man. They realized that he was Charles Wellington, the original owner of the house. "We need to find out more about him and why his spirit is still here," Ben said. The group began researching the history of Charles Wellington, hoping to uncover the story behind the haunted portrait. The group discovered that Charles Wellington had been a strict and demanding patriarch, known for his harsh treatment of his family and staff. Despite his stern exterior, he had been deeply troubled by the dark history of the Wellington Manor. "He must have some unfinished business," Alex said. "We need to find out what it is." The group found old letters and documents that revealed Charles's growing paranoia and fear of the house's dark forces. They realized that he had been trying to protect his family but had ultimately failed. "We need to help him find peace," Sarah said. The group decided to perform a ritual to communicate with Charles's spirit and learn more about his final days. During the ritual, Charles's spirit appeared, his expression filled with a mix of anger and sorrow. "Why have you summoned me?" he demanded. "We want to help you find peace," Lisa said. "Tell us what you need." Charles's spirit hesitated, then began to speak. "I tried to protect my family from the darkness that haunts this house, but I failed. I need to know that they are safe." The group realized that Charles's spirit was still tormented by his perceived failure to protect his family. "We'll make sure your family is safe," Ben said. "You can rest now." Charles's spirit looked at the group, his expression softening. "Thank you," he said. "I can finally find peace." As Charles's spirit began to fade, the group felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing they had helped another restless soul. As the group continued their exploration of Wellington Manor, they heard faint whispers coming from the walls. The voices were unintelligible, but they seemed to be trying to communicate something important. "We need to find out what these voices are trying to tell us," Sarah said, pressing her ear against the wall. The group decided to investigate the source of the whispers. They followed the sound to a hidden room behind a bookshelf in the library. Inside, they found an old phonograph and a collection of records. "These records must hold the key to the voices," Alex said, picking one up. They played the records, and the whispers became clearer. They heard snippets of conversations, cries for help, and warnings about the dangers within the house. The group realized that the spirits were trying to communicate their stories and provide clues about the house's dark history. "We need to listen to all of these," Ben said. "They might help us understand what happened here." As the group listened to the records, they began to piece together the stories of the spirits trapped in Wellington Manor. Each record contained a different voice, sharing their final moments and the events that led to their deaths. One record featured the voice of a young woman named Emily, who had been locked in the attic by her jealous husband. Another record told the story of a man named Robert, who had been betrayed by his business partner and left to die in the basement. "These stories are heartbreaking," Lisa said, her eyes filling with tears. "We need to help these spirits find peace." The group decided to perform rituals for each spirit they had heard on the records, hoping to release them from their torment. The group gathered the items needed for Emily's ritual: a lock of her hair, a piece of her clothing, and a candle. They set up the ritual in the attic, where she had been imprisoned. As they chanted, Emily's spirit appeared, her eyes filled with sorrow. "Thank you for helping me," she whispered. "I can finally be free." The group continued to chant, and Emily's spirit began to fade. The air grew warmer, and they felt a sense of peace wash over them. "We did it," Alex said, smiling. "We set her free." The group left the attic, feeling more determined than ever to help the other spirits in the house. Next, the group turned their attention to Robert's spirit. They gathered the items needed for his ritual: a piece of his business ledger, a vial of ink, and a candle. They set up the ritual in the basement, where he had been betrayed. As they chanted, Robert's spirit appeared, his face twisted in anger. "I was wronged," he said, his voice echoing through the basement. "But now I can find peace." The group continued to chant, and Robert's spirit began to fade. The air grew lighter, and the oppressive atmosphere in the basement lifted. "We're making a difference," Ben said, "one spirit at a time." While exploring the nursery, the group heard the faint sound of a child crying. They followed the sound to a small, hidden closet behind a dresser. Inside, they found a teddy bear and a small, dusty blanket. "This must belong to the child's spirit," Lisa said, picking up the teddy bear. The group decided to perform a ritual to release the child's spirit. They gathered the items needed: the teddy bear, the blanket, and a candle. They set up the ritual in the nursery and began to chant. As they chanted, the spirit of a young boy appeared, clutching the teddy bear. "Thank you for finding me," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. "I can go home now." The group continued to chant, and the boy's spirit began to fade. The nursery felt warmer, and the sound of crying ceased. "We're helping these spirits find their way," Sarah said. "It's what we're meant to do." The group returned to the attic to investigate the haunted dollhouse further. They noticed that the dolls had been rearranged since their last visit, now depicting a scene of a family dinner. As they examined the dollhouse, they realized it was trying to show them something important about the past. "These dolls are trying to communicate with us," Ben said. "We need to figure out what they're showing us." The group decided to reenact the scenes from the dollhouse, hoping to unlock its secrets. They set up the scene in the dining room, using the positions of the dolls as a guide. As they did, they felt a strange energy fill the room. As the group reenacted the family dinner scene, they began to hear faint voices and see ghostly figures appearing around the table. They saw the Wellington family, dressed in their finest clothes, enjoying a meal together. But the atmosphere was tense, and the head of the family, Charles, seemed agitated. "This must be a significant event," Sarah said. "Something must have happened during this dinner." The group continued to watch as the scene unfolded. They saw Charles accuse his eldest son of betrayal, leading to a heated argument. The son stormed out of the room, and the family was left in disarray. "We need to find out what happened to the son," Lisa said. "He might be one of the restless spirits." The group researched the history of the Wellington family and discovered that the eldest son, Henry, had been accused of embezzling money from the family business. He had left the house in disgrace and had never been seen again. "We need to summon Henry's spirit and find out the truth," Alex said. The group gathered items that had belonged to Henry: an old pocket watch, a letter he had written, and a candle. They set up the ritual in the library, where Henry had spent much of his time, and began to chant. As they chanted, Henry's spirit appeared, his face filled with sadness. "I was wronged," he said. "I never betrayed my family. I need to clear my name." The group promised to help him and began to investigate further. The group searched through old business records and letters, trying to find evidence that would exonerate Henry. They discovered a series of forged documents and letters that pointed to another family member as the true culprit. "This proves that Henry was innocent," Ben said. "We need to show this to his spirit." The group returned to the library and summoned Henry's spirit again. They presented the evidence, and Henry's expression softened. "Thank you for clearing my name," he said. "I can finally find peace." As Henry's spirit began to fade, the group felt a sense of closure. They knew they had helped another restless soul find peace. While exploring an old storage room, Sarah found an ornate mirror with intricate carvings around the frame. As she wiped away the dust, she saw images flickering across the mirror's surface, showing glimpses of different times and places within the house. "This mirror is enchanted," she said. "It's showing us scenes from the past." The group gathered around the mirror, watching as it revealed scenes of the Wellington family and their interactions with the house's dark forces. They saw moments of joy and sorrow, triumph and tragedy. "We need to use this mirror to learn more about the house's history," Alex said. "It might help us uncover more secrets."